business. Thanks for coming out tonight.
I wrote me a manual, a step-by-step booklet for you to get.
Oh, I make money moves.
You can't see me, my time is now.
What up, guys? Welcome back to the Fitness Times Business Podcast, the show created to provide you with the practical and strategic advice to help you level up in fitness, business, your career, your relationships, and your life. My name is Joseph Mencel. I am your host, flying solo in this episode. I'm going to share with you guys one of my personal favorite analogies that I've shared on multiple occasions with my team here in Massive Joe's and TMJ Apparel. And it's an analogy that I'm pretty sure I heard for the very first time from Tony Robbins. I think many years ago, Tony Robbins was the first person that kind of planted the seed. That'll be a play on word. You'll figure out why in a second. Planted the seed of this analogy in my mind. And I've kind of taken it over the years and expanded upon it and kind of applied it to the different parts of my life, in particular fitness and business. And I found it incredibly useful, not just for me personally when it comes to exerting patience, making sure I'm doing the work when I need to do the work, making sure I'm embracing the good times when I need to embrace the good times, but I found it incredibly effective when sharing with my team as well. It's just a really nice analogy to kind of get your teeth stuck into and fall back on when you're in a position where you feel yourself being quite abrasive to what's happening around you. So the analogy is one of farming, and it's got to do with the seasons of farming. So whether or not you have a good understanding of agriculture and crop farming or not, we all understand that there's 4 seasons: summer, autumn or fall if you live in the northern hemisphere, winter and spring. And when it comes to farming crops, when it comes to agriculture, the different seasons are opportunities to do different things to ensure that you are being as efficient and as productive as you can be as a crop farmer. Winter is the season to plant the seeds, to nurture the crop, to fertilize the soil. And in winter, you're doing a lot of this work without any reward. You can't see the crop growing. There's nothing to harvest. It's really hard work for quite a long time, the entire winter, with not a whole lot of progress and not a whole lot of reward. Then the seasons start to change and it comes into spring. And spring is when you start harvesting the crop. At this point, there's a lot of work, but you can see the reward at the same time. Harvesting is arguably the most work, but you can see the crops there, right? You can touch the progress. You can feel the progress. It feels good. You're getting that dopamine hit because you're making the progress moving forward. Spring is the time to harvest the crop. Then summer comes along. And summer, the crop's been harvested, you've sold the crop, and it's time to enjoy the fruits of your labor. It's time to kick back and go, you know what? The weather's amazing. I've had this awesome harvest. I've had this awesome crop, and I've sold all the crop, and I've made all this money, and it's fantastic, and I'm just going to enjoy this summer period. And then, of course, summer passes, and we head into autumn, we head into fall, and it's time to now start preparing the soil for more crop to be planted. It's time to refocus and get back to work. If you try and work against the seasons as a crop farmer, rather than with them, you're going to have a bad time. If you try and harvest crop in winter, not only is there not going to be any crop to harvest because it's winter, but you're going to miss the opportunity to plant the seeds so that when summer does come around, you're not going to have any fruits of labor to enjoy. When spring does come around, you're not going to have any crop to harvest. So you can't harvest crop in winter. On the other hand, if you try and plant seeds in summer, rather than sitting with all of the positivity of enjoying the fruits of your labor, you're going to miss the opportunity for that enjoyment, for all of those positive emotions. And there's no point planting seeds in summer anyway. They're not going to do anything. It's a complete waste of time. If you try to enjoy the fruits of your labor in spring, when you should be harvesting, before you've done the work to harvest the crop, you're going to miss the opportunity to harvest that crop that you worked so hard for in winter with very little progress, with very little sign of the work that you're doing is actually going to pay off. And once that opportunity's gone, once the crop's gone bad, you can't harvest it retrospectively. So if you work with the seasons as a crop farmer in this farming analogy, and use them to your advantage and accept that winter is coming. And when it's winter, it's time to plant those seeds, fertilize the soil, nurture the crop. And accepting that winter's not going to last forever. There will be a spring, and that's time to do the fucking work and harvest the crop. And that's not going to last forever. There will be a summer, and that's time to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And that's not going to last forever, so you better enjoy it while you can, because autumn is coming next and winter's coming again. If you work with the seasons, you're going to have a really good time. If you try and work against the seasons, you're going to have a really bad time. Pretty simple concept to understand when it comes to farming, when it comes to farming, crop, and agriculture. What I've found is that the exact same principles apply in both fitness and in business. Let's take fitness first up. Winter is time to set the habits and the routines that are going to move you towards your next fitness goal, whatever that goal may be. It might be, I want to lose 20 kilos of body fat. It might be, I want to gain 5 kilos of muscle. It might be, you know what, I've got high blood pressure, my bloods are not good, I need to get myself in general healthy shape. It could be, I'm trying to compete in a physique-based sport as a bikini athlete, as a men's physique athlete, as a bodybuilder. Whatever your goal is, winter is planting seed time. Setting the habits and routines to move you towards whatever that next fitness goal is. It's about getting your diet in check. It's about tracking your macros. It's about getting your training where it needs to be. The habits and the routines around whatever training you need to do to reach your fitness goal, making sure that you're building the habits and routines that are going to get you through periods of low motivation. It's about investing in your supplementation regime to help support your fitness goals. It's about planting these seeds and doing a lot of the really difficult work with not a lot of visible reward. You're not going to be able to see the effects of getting your diet in check within the first couple of weeks. You're not going to notice anything. But it doesn't matter because it's winter and you're planting the seeds. Spring, you start to see the rewards. You start to notice a little bit of body fat coming off. You start to notice the gains if you're trying to build muscle. You start to notice the change in proportions to your physique if you're competing in physique-based sports. If you're just doing it for basic health, your blood results are improving. Your blood pressure's coming down. Your cholesterol's coming down. Everything's heading in the right direction. You start to see the rewards, but it's not time to celebrate just yet. You still got a lot of fucking work to do. But the reward is there to keep you moving towards. And then summer comes around. You get to enjoy the rewards of reaching your fitness goal. Perhaps you've lost the 20 kilos of body fat and you look fucking amazing and you feel amazing and you want to embrace that and you've earned it. So you should. Perhaps you built that 5 kilos of muscle and you're feeling good about yourself. You're filling the shirts out. You're filling your jeans out. You're looking good. You've got to enjoy it because you've earned it. Perhaps your cholesterol's back down in range where it needs to be. Your blood pressure's back down in range. Your bloods are looking amazing. Fantastic. Enjoy that. Or perhaps you put in the work in your off season as a physique-based athlete. You've prepped for the competition. The competition has happened. You've placed in whatever division you've competed in. Fantastic. That's the time to enjoy. But know that it's not going to last forever. You enjoy that a little bit too much, you're going to fall off again. Autumn is just around the corner. Fall is just around the corner. And that's when you start setting the plan for your next fitness goal. And just like farming crop, if you try and work against the different seasons of your fitness journey, you're going to have a bad time. If you don't plant the seeds in winter, if you don't set the habits and the routines right at the start of your fitness journey, whatever that looks like for you, and you don't do the work through spring, there's not going to be anything to enjoy in summer. You're not going to reach that goal. You're not going to lose that body fat, build that muscle, get those health markers back where they need to be, place or win that competition. It's not going to happen. If you don't get back to work in autumn and you enjoy the success of reaching your fitness goal for a little bit too long, you guys know what happens. You fall off track. And then it's really fucking hard to plant the seeds again in winter. That's the most difficult part. And if you don't take the opportunity in the summer of your fitness journey to enjoy the fruits of your hard work, you don't get that opportunity again. And it's going to be much more difficult for you to get back to work in autumn and fall, for you to plant the seeds in winter, for you to harvest the crop and do the fucking work in spring, because you haven't actually rewarded yourself for the first round of that work in your fitness journey. You can work with the seasons when it comes to fitness. You're going to have a good time. You can work against the season when it comes to your fitness. You're going to have a really, really hard time. What about business? This is super, super relevant right now because business seasons, and all the business owners will definitely resonate with what I'm about to say. Business seasons are tied to economic cycles. And where we currently are, pretty much worldwide right now, is we're in autumn and winter is coming. From an economic cycle perspective, the writing's on the wall. Winter is coming. The good news is, from a business perspective, winter is business development time. It's time to plant those seeds for the next chapter of your business journey. It's time to do things like working on your company culture, making sure your employees are feeling valued, making sure they're on the right career paths that they need to be on to feel fulfilled and feel happy in their positions. It's time to work on the grassroots of new business ideas. Perhaps there's opportunities that you want to explore, and now is the opportunity to go plant those seeds and start exploring those new business ventures, those new business opportunities. It's time to look at improving the efficiency of the way you run your business. Can you do things more productively? Can you do things with less waste? Can you do things and achieve a better outcome with your current resource structure? It's time to look at reducing expenses as well as tying into improving efficiency. Can you get the same outcomes without spending as much money? Can you run a little bit leaner? This is all planting seeds methodology, and it's the sort of thing that you need to do in winter. The difficult thing is, because it's winter, you're not going to see a lot of reward when you're planting these seeds. You're not going to implement some company culture initiatives and immediately start to see an improvement in your top line revenue. It's winter. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to plant the seeds of new business ideas and immediately they're going to take off like a rocket ship. It's winter. It's not going to happen. You're not going to cut expenses immediately and see an improvement of your bottom line straight off the top because you're going to be battling reductions in top line revenue at the same time. It's winter. A lot of this planting seeds of business development in winter is going to be really difficult because there's going to be no reward until the seasons start to change. And they will change. and spring will come, and you'll start to see the rewards of the seeds you planted in the economic winter. But there's still going to be a lot of work to do. It's time to harvest now. It's time to make the most of the work that you put in that dark, cold winter with very little reward. Now it's really time to put the hammer down. And then summer will come, and you'll get to enjoy the rewards of the seeds that you planted in winter. You will see your company gelling and everything working the way that you've always wanted it to work from a staffing perspective and a company culture perspective, and it's going to lead to an increase in top-line revenue and an increase in business profitability. Those seeds that you sowed for the new business ventures are really going to start paying big dividends in summer, and you're going to fucking love that. The efficiency improvements, the reduction in expenses, those difficult decisions that you made while sowing those seeds and planting those seeds and harvesting the crop and fertilizing the crop in winter are going to start paying huge dividends when it comes to your bottom line in summer. And you get to enjoy that. And then the seasons are going to turn again. Autumn's going to come, fall's going to come, and it's time to go, you know what? Summer period is over. I need to now start thinking about what the next winter is going to look like. I need to get back to work. I need to figure out what seeds I need to plant, how I'm going to fertilize the soil, and how I'm going to prepare because winter is coming. In business, and this is something I see all the time, it's something I'm seeing right now, that as business owners or people in positions of authority within a business, you guys really need to listen to the next couple of minutes, because I'm seeing this a lot now and it's not going to end well for a lot of businesses. If you try to force summer when we are in autumn, heading into winter, as we are right now in the global economic cycle, you're going to have a bad time. If you're doing things like trying to force sales by discounting and crushing your GP, your gross profit margin, by opening new retail stores, new websites, anything that is taking on a significant amount of expense for a very small incremental increase in top-line revenue, you're forcing sales in autumn and winter when you should be planting seeds for the next spring and summer. Anything that you're doing to try and force summer right now by buying sales through whatever method that looks like to keep top-line revenue increasing while the economy is receding and contracting. When your top-line revenue eventually falls, which it will because winter is coming, and you've taken on all of these extra expenses, and your GP has died a death of 1,000 cuts, you're fucked. So business owners, be very, very careful about working against the seasons. And in particular, right here, right now, about trying to force summer when winter is coming. Very similar situation for those of you who don't run businesses or perhaps aren't in a position of authority, but you're an employee and you're focused on your career. Very similar situation with career. Winter is business and personal development time. It's when you should be planting the seeds of working on increasing your productivity as an employee. Planting the seeds of working on developing industry relationships. If you're in a sales role, really developing good relationships with your core customers. Whatever role you're in, industry relationships, one of my favorite sayings in business is your net worth is your network. Developing those relationships, really leaning into those relationships. This is the time to plant the seeds and harvest the crop and fertilize when it comes to industry relationships. This is the time to plant the seeds of your professional and personal development and really start taking that to the next level. But it's going to be difficult because you're going to be putting in all this work And because it's winter, you're not going to be seeing a lot of reward. But you have to stick with it, and you have to have faith that the seasons will turn. And they will. Spring will come. You'll start to see the rewards of the seeds you planted in winter. You're still going to have a lot of work to do, but it's going to be easier because you can feel those rewards. You can touch those rewards. You can smell those rewards. You're getting that dopamine hit every step along the way. And then in summer, you'll get to enjoy the rewards of the seeds you planted in winter, all of that work you did regarding your productivity, regarding building and nurturing those industry relationships, your professional and your personal development, all of that work you put in winter where you couldn't see the progress, you couldn't see the reward, you're going to get to enjoy the fuck out of that in summer. And then the seasons will turn again. Autumn and fall will come. It's time to set the plan for your next career move, your next round of personal development, your next round of nurturing industry relationships. Really what this comes down to, guys, is it's a different way of thinking about controlling your controllables. And you guys know that I've spoken about this a lot, especially in the last couple of years, because there has been so much that has been outside of our control, whether it's been pandemic related, whether it's been economic related, whether it's been war in Ukraine related. I mean, there always has been, there always will be so much shit that is out of our control that we can't do anything about. And this farming analogy is really a great example of figuring out what you can control, figuring out what you can't control. In particular, accepting what you can't control. The seasons are going to come and go, and there ain't a single fucking thing you can do about it. The only thing you can do is accept that after summer will come autumn. After autumn will come winter. After winter will come spring. After spring will come summer. And the shit's going to repeat itself time and time again. And all you can do is accept it. Completely outside of your control. You can't do anything about how long it's going to take for you to reach a particular fitness goal. You just have to work with the seasons and do the fucking work. You can't do anything about how long a particular economic cycle is going to last. You have to play into the seasons, plant the seeds in winter, harvest the crop in spring, enjoy the fruits of your labor in summer, and get back to work in autumn. You can't fight against it. You have to accept what you cannot control, and the seasons you can never control. What you can control is what you do when the certain seasons present themselves. What you can control is making sure that in winter you plant the seeds, you fertilize the soil, and you nurture the crop. What you can control is ensuring in summer you actually take the time to embrace all of the positivity and reward yourself for the work you put in winter, the work you put in spring, and the work that you're about to put in autumn. You can always control 4 things: your actions, your responses, your effort, and your attitude. You guys have heard me say this way too many times now. But sometimes you just need to hear me say it in a certain way with a certain analogy for it to click, and it'll all make perfect sense. The seasons will improve. Summer will come. But if you've been trying to harvest in winter when you should have been planting seeds, there's not going to be any fruits of your labor to enjoy. Have the awareness to understand what season you are in. Accept them for what they are. Make sure you're taking the time to plant seeds in winter, to nurture the crop, to fertilize the soil. Make sure you're working as hard as you can to harvest as much crop as you can in spring. Make sure in summertime you take the time to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And make sure that when autumn comes back around, you get back to work. Work with the seasons, not against them. You're going to have a great fucking time. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Fitness Times Business Podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform. And if you enjoyed this episode and took some value from it, make sure you share it with your friends, your family, and your followers. And if you haven't yet, be sure to leave us a 5-star rating.